People often ask, where do I get all these statues from? There's over 15 groups of companies that I actually purchase these from, and today, based off of one of your recommendations, I'm going to do another countdown. I'm going to take 15 of those companies and choose my favorite from every single one. And I got to be honest with you guys, I almost couldn't do this because it was too hard.
That's what she said.
Michael, please.
Hey guys, welcome to the Extreme Channel. My name is Mr. X, and here we are all about high-end collectibles, especially statues. And that's what we're going to cover today. I own hundreds and hundreds of high-end collectible statues. And lately, people have been loving these countdown videos we've been doing. We've been counting down everything under the sun. And if you want to check some of those out, stay tuned towards the end of the video because there will be a playlist that you can check out. But today we're going to do something a little bit different. If you look at just the licensed companies I bought statues from, there's a little over 15. And if you include custom, which is unlicensed commissions, it can get even bigger. So today I arranged 15 of those top companies, and I'm going to look at every single one and tell you what my favorite statue in my collection. Not only that, but there's going to be a surprise caveat. But before we dive into that, check this out. We're giving away these two Mortal Kombat statues by PCS. One at the 15,000 sub giveaway, the other at 17,500. To enter, just comment on this video. This is one of the videos we may pick for a random comment. Also, make sure you have liked this video, you subscribe to the channel, and you've hit that bell notification. So as I said, I picked actually 15 different companies in no particular order. However, you will see as we get closer to number one, it's going to be a little bit more popular. And I chose my favorite piece that I own in my collection from that company. And then I'm also choosing my most anticipated piece I have on order. Some of these it was really easy as I only owned one or two. Or maybe I only had one or two on order. But some it was incredibly difficult and I actually couldn't settle on just one. But let's go ahead and kick it off with the first one. This is Tweeterhead. Tweeterhead is actually a company that I'm not 100% familiar with. I recently got one piece from them, so this is obviously my favorite piece in my collection from Tweeterhead, is this 1/5 scale Pennywise It statue. I'm a big fan. As I've said before, I wish it was a little bit bigger.
Hey, that's what she said.
But it makes me excited about the other piece I have on order from them. It's only one, but this Hordak. 1/5 scale to go with my Masters of the Universe line and that giant gray skull castle I've reviewed. If you ever want to see where I've set all that up, make sure to check out the Extreme Channel Facebook page. I threw a link in the description below, so go there, check that out, and make sure you like it and follow it to see pictures I don't show on YouTube. Till I did a walkthrough in my collection. And when I filmed this from home, so I may have missed some stuff at the office, because as you guys know, I have about 60 statues there. But Elite Creature Collectibles is a phenomenal company. They do a lot of movie-based pieces, specifically in 1/3 scale or life-size busts. I own about 5 of them, but I don't have any more on order. However, of the 5 that I own, it was a pretty tough decision, but my favorite is actually the Spike Gremlin that I own. This is life-size, it looks real. He's right underneath my 75-inch TV. Looks very, very cool. And while I don't have anything else on order from them right now, I would love to get their 1/3 scale Marcus and Lycan. It's some pieces I would always love to have, however, I've never gotten them mainly due to space requirements. Company number 13 was a pretty easy one as well. This is Figurama, who does phenomenal pieces. It seems like they rarely miss. I was able to nab their very first piece, this Devilman vs. Anon piece, and I absolutely love it. I think the sculpt, the quality, the paint is just done fantastically, despite the fact that I don't have a lot of ties to the characters. However, I do have a lot of ties from the piece I cannot wait to get from them. That is their Attack on Titan piece. I absolutely love this anime, and then this statue just takes it to the next level. I cannot wait to get this piece, and it's actually one of my most anticipated pieces of everything. Number 12 is kind of a sad one for me. So Chronicle Collectibles, they recently announced that they are bankrupt, and they have some of my money, so hopefully I get that back. So I have no more anticipated pieces coming in, obviously, because they went bankrupt. But my favorite piece in my current collection that I own is their female T-Rex bust. This is a really underrated piece, I think. It is supposedly, I think, 1/5 scale, but I would love to have a life-size version of a Tyrannosaurus Rex bust, but obviously that's not applicable. So I don't like the fact that it doesn't scale well with my other busts, but it does not take away from the fact it is a fantastic piece. I will have to do a review on it sometime. Number 11 is a company I'm not a huge fan of. This is called Hollywood Collectibles Group, or HCG. I own about 5 pieces from them, and it seems like every time I order one from them, I'm always a little bit disappointed. And while the one I like the most does have its disappointing features, I think the concept and the size just makes up for a lot of that. This is the Alien Queen Out of the Wall. So I believe this is supposed to be a life size. It's probably a little bit on the small side. However, it is a very, very cool piece. It's actually one of the first things you see when you come down to the man cave. Now, because I'm disappointed with their pieces, I don't have another one on order. However, I am on the lookout for their Creeper. Not their new bust, but their old exclusive piece. The exclusive only, they only made 150. I was able to nab one on a sale once, but it broke in shipping, unfortunately. But I would love to add this to my collection because I think they did a very good job on this, and I love the character. Number 10 is a company that is not only known for doing collaborations with other companies, they knock portraits out of the park, especially with movie licensing. And I'm talking about Blitzway, of course. I have a few different Blitzway pieces, and probably my favorite that I have in my collection is the Rocky 2 piece. Again, a lot of people, when they want a Rocky piece, they want him in the boxing ring with gloves, but I think the Rocky series of movies had a lot more to it than him just as a fighter, and they just did this statue phenomenally, representing Sylvester Stallone. Very big fan of this piece. It's one of my favorites. But equally excited for is their new partnership with Prime One Studios. They're doing the Joker of Joaquin Phoenix. Now, Queen Studios recently revealed their own Joaquin Phoenix Joker, which looks fantastic as well. But I'm set on this one. I like it a lot better, and cannot wait to have it in my collection. Number 9 is kind of a controversial company. I've owned probably about 15 to 20 pieces from them. This is Pop Culture Shock Toys, and there's a big mixed feeling towards this company. And I have that same mixed feeling. I've pretty much gotten rid of all the pieces with the exception of the Street Fighter line. However, the Street Fighter line doesn't have what my favorite piece is from their company. My favorite piece is actually their Howling Werewolf. I'm not a fan of the paint job on this, but I love the character, and I think they got the likeness done very, very well. So big fan that PCS knocked this out of the park. One day, maybe I'll have my wife repaint it. However, the one I have on order that I anticipate the most is one I've waited forever, is their Ultimate Guile. This piece right here, it's going to round out my Street Fighter collection. I think be the final piece that I collect for it. And I've been waiting years and years for this. Number 8 is a company that I just got into. Is actually First 4 Figures. I own a couple pieces from them right now. However, I recently got in their Sonic, and that is my absolute favorite piece. I like it for a lot of different reasons besides the nostalgia, but it actually caused me to jump on board to get both their Bowser and their Super Mario. So I really can't pick which one I anticipate more. I actually anticipate them both. I'm probably going to get the Bowser is actually supposed to arrive any day. The review for that might have launched before this video, but I anticipate that and the Mario just the same. I think all three of those will look great together. Infinity Studios, I'm kind of a mixed bag on. I have a few different pieces. I don't have any of their life-size busts yet. I do have some on order. And honestly, the pieces I currently own, I'm not super impressed with yet. However, if I had to pick a favorite one, it would be this giant great white shark. I kind of think of this as a Jaws piece, even though it's not directly from the movie Jaws. And I might end up selling this actually, just it doesn't scale well with other pieces, but it doesn't take away from the fact that it is beautifully done on every single level. My most anticipated piece from them, however, is a life-size bust, and that, of course, is the Wonder Woman from Infinity Studios. I have this on order. I have the Queen Studios Wonder Woman as well, and I'm not sure if I like the busts that actually have that extra hand, but we'll see when it comes in. But nonetheless, it still looks fantastic. So number 6, I just put all the customs together, which is incredibly difficult on so many levels because I own so many and I have so many on order. I tried to simplify it as much as possible. You guys know my favorite piece in my collection is a Silver Surfer out of a black hole, and that obviously is my favorite custom piece as well. But I think some honorable mentions are the 2 new custom painted Wolverines I have, both the Logan and the Samurai. Definitely are near that top spot. And then I also probably have about 10 more that would tie near that, but I don't want to just dive in and put all those on the list here for you. And a lot of the same things can be said about the pieces I have on order. Very, very difficult to categorize which one is the best, but I simplified it by saying which part of my collection is my favorite. Well, that's my X-Men. So which X-Men am I anticipating the most that's a custom? And that's pretty easy. That's this Colossus right here. Very excited about this piece. I have another Colossus, but he's in a Dio, and I love the Sentinel aspect to the X-Men. You guys know that. So this is my most anticipated custom piece at the moment. And if you've seen these top 10 countdowns before, I can change my mind day to day. Number 5 is Iron Studios. So I've actually sold quite a few Iron Studios pieces that I used to own. I've never been extremely impressed with them. However, every once in a while they do knock it out of the park. One of the pieces that I currently own, which I don't know how much longer I'm going to own, I may sell it one day, is their Vader. This is probably the favorite piece I still own in my collection. It is a fantastic piece. It's a great representation of Vader. I think he's a little bit overscaled and he doesn't look great with my other Star Wars pieces, which is why I would sell him. But my most anticipated piece is their Sentinel Diorama number 3. Number 3 specific, I have number 1 on order as well. But this looks amazing. I still don't know where I'm going to put it, but especially after seeing them at the Sideshow Con, very, very excited to get this piece in my collection. Number 4, I went with Queen Studios. Again, very difficult. While I only own about 6 or 7 pieces from them, hard to determine which one is the best. But I think it is the Thanos bust. For sure, it is the best. I'm not a fan of the new one that was teased, so I'm glad I ended up getting this one. But I do know a lot of people love it. And my most anticipated piece is actually one I haven't ordered yet, but I cannot ignore that the base was the most genius idea on the planet. That is their Joaquin Phoenix Joker bust. I have their old non-licensed Heath Ledger bust, and I think this will look fantastic next to it. So that is my most anticipated piece from Queen Studios, even though I haven't ordered it yet. Now, the last 3 companies are the most popular ones: Sideshow, XM, and Prime One Studios. And 2 of those, it was incredibly difficult to figure out which ones were my favorite. I actually have multiple and then multiple coming in. And I think that kind of tells me which 2 are my favorite companies. So let's start with the one that's not, but Sideshow. Let's start with Sideshow, arguably one of the biggest. Looking at Sideshow, there were 2 pieces there's about 5 pieces I had to debate between, but 2 pieces kept jumping to the front. One is the Thanos on Throne. I've said that in a countdown before, so that shouldn't be a surprise to everybody as one of my favorite pieces from Sideshow. The other one really surprised me, but it's their old Bane Premium format. This one kept edging out others like some Hulks and some movie pieces, but their Bane Premium format is really impressive. And I think that rings really true for me because I don't have a lot of ties to the character, but I still think he's one of the best statues. Now, regarding my most anticipated piece from Sideshow, I don't have a lot on order, believe it or not. I had less than 5 pieces on order from them, but it was pretty easy. It's their Rancor. I have a big Star Wars collection going. This is going to go next to a Gamorrean Guard and a Jabba. Reminds me of the toy I had when I was a kid, except it cost 20 times more. This is my most anticipated piece from Sideshow. Which means that I think I've determined that Prime One Studios and XM Studios, based off doing this exercise, are my favorite companies, even more so than Customs. Let's start with XM Studios. This was incredibly difficult to pick my favorite ones, so I actually ended up picking 3, and I wanted to have 5 or 6 in there. But my favorite ones, not a surprise to a lot of people, Hulkbuster. The sheer size, and if I had to choose between the 3 I'm going to talk about right now, I don't think that would be number 1 anymore. Their Batman Shogun is extremely impressive. Very well could be my favorite number 1. I know a lot of people's it is. That's probably not a big surprise to you. However, this one I think will be a big surprise. Their newest Gambit I think is amazing. It's one of my favorite pieces in my X-Men collection, and I'm glad to say he's probably going to be the only Gambit in my collection. Now, as far as pieces on order, this was very, very hard. I probably have about 20 XM Studios pieces on order, so I was able to narrow it down to 4, or 5. 5 in no particular order, and some of these I'm receiving very, very soon. I may have received some already, depending on when this video airs, but there's Starscream. Again, very excited about this. I've only collected Prime One Studios Transformers, so it'll be my first XM Studios Transformer, plus it's the original version of Starscream, which I love. Of course, they're Thanos and Lady Death. I actually did recently pay for shipping, so I should get that in the next 4 to 6 weeks, but one of my most anticipated pieces for sure. Notching in at number 5 is their Sabretooth. Pretty excited about this guy, even though I don't think he's going to beat my current custom one. I think he'll look great with some of the other X-Men pieces, especially from like Sideshow. Believe it or not, their Nightwing, their Samurai Nightwing really excited me. I'm kind of going all in with their Samurai line, but this Nightwing I think looks the coolest despite my lack of attachment to the character. And the same thing can be said about this Eddie. I think this is just a piece of art, and I cannot wait to get him. I was going to hold off #restraint, but this is just beautiful, and I think it'll be highly sought after when it's all said and done. So the last one we're going to cover is Prime One Studios, and just like all the other above, it was very difficult to narrow down because they have such great lines. They have the Transformers line. They have the 1/3 DC line. And those are where my top 2 favorites came from in no particular order. Their Optimus Prime Jet Power is just the most impressive Transformer piece I've ever seen. I even have him like right next to Shockwave. You can see both of them. So it's not about size because I like him quite a bit better, even though Shockwave is pretty cool. And then the other one, believe it or not, is the Batman Who Laughs. If I had to get rid of all my 1/3 DC pieces, this is the one I would get rid of last. Even though I haven't got into the metal comics, I just love every part of this piece. My most anticipated pieces from Prime One, I narrowed it down to 3, which was very, very difficult. And they all should come in the next few months. This Joker piece actually might come in the next few weeks. So their Bermejo Joker, I don't have a 1/3 scale Joker yet. I love this piece from the initial reveals. It's one of my most anticipated pieces of everything I've ordered. Cannot wait to get him and put him with the collection. And the same thing can be said about Lobo, despite my lack of knowledge of the character. This just looks amazing. Caleb did a great job sculpting it. I think he'll look fantastic next to their Hush Superman. Their 1/3 scale Lobo is also a favorite anticipated. And I can't wait to get their Goku. I got their Goku Deluxe. I don't have a Goku yet, so this will look great with all the other 1/4 scale Dragon Ball Z pieces. I'm getting their Vegeta as well. And then I hope their Frieza looks amazing because I will probably jump on board with that. Now we get to the best part of the video, guys. Go ahead and let me know what your favorites from each of those companies are that you currently own. And make sure it's one that you currently own. I have some that I've actually sold that would have made the list. So why'd you sell them if you like them so much? Number of reasons. Some were business opportunities I could not pass down. Sometimes I don't collect that line anymore. But whatever piece you own from each company, throw that in the comments below. It's always cool reading the comments and seeing people commenting on each other. But that's it for today. So if you want to see a detailed review of all those incoming pieces, hit that Mr. X logo, hit the bell notification. And for now, check out some of the other countdowns till I talk to you tomorrow. Take care.